on, guys? Angelo here. Welcome to the Let's Talk About That podcast. Today, I have another guest with me, and this guy, he's from England, but he came to the U.S. last year for an ultimate coaster trip. Welcome, Luke. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
So this guy actually hung out with El Toro Ryan. If you didn't see his vlogs, he was definitely with them. And how was that, though, man? What was going on with that?
It was pretty awesome. We
Yeah.
traveled across Texas,
Mhm.
Missouri, Kansas, and we went to all of these awesome parks. Definitely one of the highlights was when we happened to also bump into Mr. Beast at Six Flags over Texas. So you never know. Could have missed out on a potential viral collab there, but it's good fun nonetheless.
How's your YouTube channel going? Like, I saw you kind of stopped doing videos a little bit. Just tell us about what happened. Like, how did that happen?
I mean, it got to a point where I was so far behind on what I had produced, I just couldn't keep up. Basically, last year I did over 200 roller coasters in a month.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was 8,000 miles and over 30 amusement parks. And basically, I'd met all these people along the way. Each video would take me about a week to put together. And it got to the point where the pressure was just too much. And I thought, it feels more like work now. It felt more like a career as opposed to the thing I'm trying to do to avoid.
That's true. I'd say for me, it was like, I just caught up, like, just luckily because of the quarantine, I was able to catch up finally. And that's really like the only reason I'm kind of back on track now. And now I'm just like, well, I guess I'll just interview a couple people that I know and met along the journey last year. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things that's something that I kind of guess got a little bit neglected as a result of immersing myself in content creation. Is you meet all these people, but you don't even have time for yourself. You're always either filming, editing, uploading, scheduling premieres, and it's like I'd rather be able to kind of enjoy the legacy that I've created for myself and share with people than kind of just sit there like a drone and
I mean, like you said, it does sometimes it does feel like a job. Like some days I really do look at it as like a job because like I have so much stuff scheduled and I'm just like, well, I want to get this one out by the end of this week, or I want this one out. And it's cool because I love doing it, but like you said, it does get to your head sometimes. You're just like, man, I just need a break. So but how's the quarantine been over there in like England? How is that?
It's been pretty hit and miss. Everyone's supposed to be sort of isolating, and we've got people that seem to think that they're invincible, as you can imagine with today's youth and that. But the thing is, the only way this is going to work is if we do it all together.
Right. Stay home.
This is it. Hashtag stay home. But the only way this is going to work is like when you go to a theme park, is even if it's a busy day, even if there's loads of people there, you can put your heads together and you can get fast passes. You can plan your day accordingly. And I must admit, despite all of this isolation, I didn't think I'd say this, but I do miss the crowds. Even if I'm standing in line at a park, I miss the engagement. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, like, as crazy as it is, like, I'm more of an introvert. I don't know if you are, but like this is cool with me. But like some days I am just like, man, I kind of need to ride. I need to get on a coaster or something. Like I got to get out here. Like,
I think it's like the grass is always greener. Like same as when people say what coaster is better.
Right.
You always when you get on the one you want to ride something else. So as much as I love being indoors, I always want to go outside, and then when I go outside, it's like rather be back home.
Right. I mean, so okay, I know like you went on like that big coaster trip and everything. Like what's like your most anticipated coaster now for like 2020?
I mean, I don't plan to go to China anytime soon.
Okay,
what's happened. There's now 2 C words you're not allowed to say and you get demonetized for. One of them is to do with the pandemic. And the reason why I mentioned China is because I really want to ride Dinoconda. It's the last multi-dimensional coaster I've got to tick off. But this has given me plenty of time to plan that trip, perhaps in a few years' time. And to be honest, I haven't even been to Europe for about 10 years.
What? I mean, I've never been there, but that's crazy. Wow, that's a long time.
Well, I mean, I live on the doorstep.
Right, I'm just like, you're like right there. That's a long time.
But you know, it's one of those things. It's going to be as good as you make it. So if you have this time to buckle down, either you can edit or produce content or collaborate like this, which is awesome. And it kind of just gives you a chance to sit back and really plan out your route. But I will mention the trip that I did last year. That was only one of a few trips I did.
Oh, okay.
That whole 8,000-mile trip I ended up doing, that was for like, I think about a month and a half in the end. And then I was still there for another month and a half afterwards.
What? Oh yeah, because you went, I mean, we didn't see like the other videos, but you did like a lot. Like, I remember you telling me like when you came to Kings Bend, like you still had a lot to go. Like,
I'm trying to think of all the ones that I hear. I don't want to bore everyone, but literally.
No, this is what the podcast is for, man. Talk about
it. It would be like the credits from the Avengers right now. It'd just be like names floating up and up and up. But yeah, I mean, we started off in Michigan with Cedar Point.
Okay.
Kind of traversed across towards the eastern seaboard, the likes of Great Adventure. I think we even stopped off at Hershey Park on the way.
Oh yeah.
Came all the way down through to, where did we go southernmost? It was Florida. We went to Florida for about 36 hours, and then the very next day we drove to Alabama. It was a 10-hour drive, and we had 45 minutes left to ride one roller coaster. I believe that was Rampage. Alabama,
okay.
Splash.
I don't know. I don't remember the name, but man, that's crazy.
We'll put something on screen.
Right.
But it's pretty awesome. And then we kind of traversed our way back up, stopped off at Kentucky Kingdom, Holiday World, Indiana Beach.
Oh yeah, that part, man. Did you get to
ride some pretty exclusive credits? So.
Yeah, did you ride Cornball Express or what?
Yeah, it was awesome. And the funniest thing is, right, this is going to sound weird, I know, but for those of you that know, the tallest coaster in the world is Kingda Car. That's about 9 times as tall, my calculations are correct, as Cornball Express.
Oh my god!
But yeah, the way Cornball twists at like 50 feet in the air, like it twists and kind of goes down, your stomach's all contorted, and it's like you don't know what to do with it. You know, are you being flung out or are you getting laterals?
Wow, that's what I mean. A lot of people say like it's a very underrated coaster. Like I really want to go back to the park because now they're saying like they're actually going to be reopening. So I really do want to get a chance to go up there. Just experience at least one time because who knows if they actually will close in the future. So I definitely will get up there. I mean,
one of the coasters I didn't get was Lost Coaster of Superstition Mountain. I didn't get that
What
credit.
In the world? I never even heard of that one.
Oh, it looks awesome. It's you can actually you sit in like a little mine cart and you can basically forwards or backwards. And I believe there's a ride similar to it, not quite the same, but similar at Dollywood, which is it the Mystery Mine?
Yes. Okay. So it's like Mystery Mine. Okay.
I believe so. Yeah, I have to fact check me on that.
Yeah, it's like Gerstlauer. It's like a Gerstlauer train, I think.
Yeah, this coaster, the Lost Coaster of Superstition Mountain, was I'm pretty sure it's a unique layout, but I know it's kind of like one of those coasters that's best enjoyed with friends. So rally the troops, get your season passes, and get down to Indiana Beach as soon as it reopens.
Oh yeah, I mean, so would you do that again, like that big type of trip, or would you space it out next time?
I mean, there were days where we were literally driving for, I think the longest was about 10 hours.
Dang.
There was one day where we did Niagara Falls, Seabreeze, Darien Lake, and then we had a 7-hour drive to Connecticut.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see, where was it? It was Lake Compounce, Quasi, and Six Flags New England. So this was literally 2 days back to back.
That's crazy.
And then we still had another 20 odd days to go, and it was brutal, but it was good fun.
Because I remember when like Theme Park Worldwide did it, he was like beat after like once the end of the trip, they didn't even really want to go to the park. They just were like, we just want to look at Canada. Like, that's crazy.
I actually met up with Sean and Alex and their
Wasn't
friend
it at
Brett.
Carowinds?
It was at Carowinds and King's Dominion.
Yeah.
I think I actually saw them at Busch Gardens as well. They were collaborating with Taylor, so that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, really, really humble guys. But the thing is, obviously, he's got such a large audience. They kind of just expect content to be coming out, and I have so much respect for him to be able to edit whilst on the road to the next park.
I've learned, like, I was supposed to be doing that more this year. I mean, I just got a laptop, and that was one of the reasons I got it, was because I knew I was going to be traveling like crazy. So I was like, well, there's no way I want to be able to keep up, kind of like, and I didn't want to get behind how I got like this year and like finally got caught up and whatnot. But like now I'm just like, I don't even know how it's going to be when I edit and whatnot, because I get to bring like my hard drive with me, and I'll just be able to like create videos on the go. So it's going to be a new experience for me.
Absolutely. I mean, it's something that I've always kind of worked with since I started doing YouTube. But we'll get to the origin stories in a little bit, so stay tuned for that. You're not going to want to miss it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was one of those sort of things where I had everything I needed, but you have to give yourself the time you need and be in the right headspace in order to have people kind of see that in your, or see it being reflected in your content. So I thought, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to sort of just enjoy being here in the moment. And then hopefully my portfolio of videos at the moment will be what kind of people see, and they can say, oh, I met that guy. Rather than sort of, me sort of slugging along for the sake of it.
Yeah, for me, I kind of do, like, when I go to the park, I start vlogging because I want to give my first initial review of that park, because I think that first review and first reaction to your park is like probably the best one, because you're going there for the first time. And usually like the second time I go to the park, so like when I went to Carowinds again, I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to actually take pictures and just experience the park now. So it's harder to kind of like do both at the same time, or like you want to experience, but I think it's good. I mean, sometimes I think I might try it one day this year where I'll just go to the park and then vlog like the next time, because it might be different outlook. So we'll see.
One of the best things that I found to do was, I mean, this is coming from someone who spent a week at Magic Mountain. I spent several days.
Oh yeah, how was X2 and Tatsu?
Awesome, man. I rode X2 39 times in a day, and I could have done more, 31. But I needed the toilet. But,
wow.
It's one of these sort of things where I like to go there, get my initial reactions on, let's say, Instagram or any form of social media, really, and then kind of have snippets of my initial reactions, but then spend the time that I really need to kind of give an honest opinion and evaluation of these rides. But the way I tend to rank coasters is my initial thoughts on them, and then after multiple re-rides, if they still have that same kind of feel to them. But,
see, I try to give people my first reaction of like every coaster that I go, especially if it's a new one. I try to give like my new credit. Like if it's a new credit, I'm like, okay, I want you guys to know exactly what I think of it, and then because it's fresh on the mind, and then like you said, once I re-ride again, I'll be like, it went down a little bit, or no, it stayed the same, or actually got even better. So yeah
absolutely. I mean, a lot of it is when it comes to ranking coasters, a lot of it can be psychosomatic. You take subconscious influence from what other people have said. So I find sometimes you're your own best critic to sort of see what you previously said and then what you think of the ride now. But that's just coming from me. So
I mean, so can you speak like that language fluently? Like, can you speak like, I guess British? Is that, I guess, what y'all's language is over there, or what?
So apparently my regional dialect is quite neutral. We've got people up north that they tend to use sort of slang and abbreviations.
Oh wow!
But you will be surprised. Over in the States, there are a few kind of words that you'll say, and people will be completely dumbfounded. And for example, the one that everyone loves to hear is how we say aluminium, which is aluminum.
Aluminum. Or no, y'all say like dimension. We say dimension. It's so funny.
That's just kind of one of the quirks, it's definitely it works in your favor when you're trying to engage with a new audience, because people seem to, I wouldn't say misconstrue, but they'll probably take you more seriously for being an outsider than just someone who lives 10 minutes from the park. So
I mean, do you have any like park plans for this year? I mean, I know everything that's happening. Like, do you have any plans still, or what?
So I need to redeem my $4 a month Six Flags pass from Magic Mountain. Funny story. I did have a platinum membership for what ended up to be a year and a half because of a minor discrepancy. When I started my world tour, I started in Massachusetts. So I got the season pass, and 6 months later, I'm turning 25 in California, and I bought the food pass, and I wanted to link the food pass from California, Discovery Kingdom, and my season pass from Massachusetts.
Yeah,
they were happy to sell it to me, but couldn't link them together. So anyway, 14 months later, they finally refunded me.
Wow.
And I said, look, I've had enough. Thanks for finally, getting around to my request. But I do want to cancel. They wouldn't let me cancel my membership before this outbreak. And they said, all right, well, how does this sound? How about we'll downgrade you to gold for $4 a month. You get every parking, everything you could ever want.
Yep. They don't want people to leave.
Since this outbreak, it's gone back up to platinum now, I think, as a complimentary upgrade. So I'm quids in. I'm only paying like the bare minimum for one of the better packages.
Yeah.
And that was my plan for this year, was to go over and redeem that from Magic Mountain.
I mean, that's crazy. Have a Six Flags day. I know for mine, like they just said for Cedar Fair, actually, that they're upgrading everyone. Well, they're not upgrading, but they're going to be extending it to 2021. So I'm like,
I was actually thinking of investing in that.
And I mean, I was going to say you'll be able to still use it next year, because it even includes like your add-ons. So like I had a dining plan with it. So that's like 2 years of just eating free, basically.
Wow.
And I'm glad they did it though, because I mean, we're almost in June, so we'll be in June before we know it. Like,
it's crazy, isn't it?
I mean, also, like you said, for Six Flags, they upgraded. I had like just the Diamond membership, and then they put me to the Diamond Elite one. So now I'm paying like $15 for the Diamond Elite. So I'm like, okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it works out to be in your best interest to continue the package if this pandemic is kind of nipped in the bud. However, if it does get drawn out a little bit, you may enter the realm of diminishing returns, where you're better off pausing a membership.
Right.
But
to be honest, SeaWorld is paused. Like they haven't even charged mine since like, I think in February was the last time they charged it, because everything that happened, they were just like, we're not going to do it. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those sort of things. If my measly $4 a month helps kind of keep them in business, even if by, a hair's width, then I'm content. I'm effectively investing in my future or foreseeable future.
What would you say was probably like your best experience, or really not? Yeah, I guess your best experience at a park, and you can say your worst one too.
I've had some weird experiences. Mostly coming out of Japan when I flew there last year. I basically went to, I think the first day I landed, I just got off this flight. I had to go from England to Finland, and then Finland into Tokyo. And I was incredibly jet lagged. But then I found out there's an Intamin mega coaster, Thunder Dolphin, which is literally in the heart of Tokyo.
So I went straight there. Was that video? I think you did a video on it, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. It's called Coasting Through Tokyo. I believe it's my channel trailer, so check it out. It'll be on screen somewhere above.
Yeah, I'll leave his channel in the link description for sure.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it was awesome. Basically, I was so sleep deprived. I had to then recreate my first day riding Thunder Dolphin. So the video you're seeing there is an 80s music video, which I filmed on, I think, the eve of my last day in Japan. But it captured my first, like it was so true to what I'd experienced, I had to share it. So.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
But, it was weird because not only are you surrounded by people speaking another language,
right,
but just in the distance you've got a giant Godzilla head on top of a skyscraper, a giant mechanical Gundam Transformer robot in the distance, and it's like, what the bloody hell's going on?
The worst experience I have is when you're jet lag and you're in Tokyo when you don't know what they're saying. Like, I mean, so what was your worst experience? Like, what was that?
I had a weird experience, but this was over in California now. So this was on the other side of the world. And that was some guy, he got to Knott's Berry Farm the same day as I did. Didn't have a car. claimed,
What?
I think he said he worked for Disney, or he could get me into Disney for free, and he had a very suspicious vibe to him.
Wow.
And I remember he waited for me outside the toilets, and he was like, "No, I'll stay with you." And I sat there 20 minutes, and I was like, "I can't do this. I've got to go." So anyway, I found the most kind of intricate looking structure I could find. So somewhere I could lose him, kind of like when you ditch someone in a corn maze. And I took it to Ghost Rider. And we're talking along, and as he's walking alongside me, I'm slowing down, and he walks off ahead, and I just made a beeline, and I hid behind some lockers for 10 minutes. And this guy, he had the creepiest, eeriest vibe to him.
Wow.
And even though we hadn't even though it wasn't associated necessarily with the park, shout out to Knott's Berry Farm, awesome park.
Right.
The experience was tainted for me because I genuinely felt like this guy was Sylvester Molester, But there you go.
Oh my gosh. That's really weird. Why in the world, how do you not have a car and you're just in Cali? Like, what?
I know. He goes, "Oh, you can come pick me up tomorrow and we'll go to Disney." I'm like, I don't have a car, mate. I'm here on vacation.
We'll go to Disney. Okay, so what are some other like YouTubers, like coastal YouTubers that you watch?
To be honest, this is a very vanilla answer, considering I've collaborated with El Toro Ryan. Kind of spent the last few years watching his content. Coaster Studios, Theme Park Worldwide. I met all of those guys last year on my travels, which was awesome. And there are a few other channels that I've kind of glimpsed and I've seen in the limelight recently. One, for example, is Airtime Thrills. He's skyrocketed. I mean, all of the channels nowadays.
I know, it's kind of crazy. Like, I'm trying to think. I don't know if you've heard of OK Coasters, but he does some awesome work now too.
Yeah, he has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
He's almost at 6,000 subscribers, I think. And I knew him when he was, I believe, about 300 because I saw an Instagram post.
I saw like literally when his channel, like I remember Mike had posted, Airtime Mike, he had posted like, check out his channel. I had subscribed and he was at like maybe like you said, 300 at the time. All of a sudden, it was like 2 weeks later, and I was like, what the world? He's got like 3,000 subscribers. What just happened?
I was so disheartened because a lot of his content was from parks that I'd previously been to.
Oh, wow.
But the problem is a lot of people were following the live streams of this giant epic adventure I went on. And then it kind of dwindled out. It became sort of like people would only watch content if they were specifically looking for that park.
That's what happens usually.
Yeah, it's a labour of love. If your heart's not in it anymore, I think people would rather you kind of take a leave of absence than kind of just churn stuff out. So I'm on the fence as to where I want to take things next, but who knows?
I mean, so what other interests do you have, like besides coasters, I guess?
So before I did all of this, I actually turned my room into a virtual reality studio.
What in the world?
Sensors. Computers. I built a computer just so I could set up a virtual reality space. Built a 3D printer.
Nice.
Because that came about because I really like board games and I wanted to put myself in some board games. So I was like, I'm going to design myself a little figure. I'm going to 3D print it. I'm going to paint it up and all of this. And then I just realized, do you know what? Like, all of these materialistic things are holding me back from the one true thing I want to do, which was ride coasters.
Oh, wow. So that's, wow, ride coasters. That's crazy how, like, it's funny how everyone has, like, another thing that they do, I guess, like, other than coasters. Like, we all have, like, this other thing. Like, I love tech, and I look at tech as, like, my other, like I guess, drug, I guess, because roller coasters are, like, people's drug. So,
absolutely.
But tech-wise, it's like I just love learning about like other cameras and like what this lens does, or like how fast this process goes. So
absolutely. But I think it was a blessing and a curse to be so kind of invested in tech, because it gave me a slight advantage when I started making content. But at the same time, I knew what was it was going to entail, so I knew what was coming, and that kind of stinted my growth a little bit because. I knew how much hard work it was going to be and how much time I'd have to invest. Whereas a lot of people, they kind of come in with the energy.
That's true.
And you see it dwindle. You see it kind of leave their body. But,
That's true.
I tried to keep myself on a nice medium plane, so everyone kind of thought, yeah, he's level-headed, we can relate, and at the end of the day, we're all here to have a good time.
Okay, so like, what other like stories do you have, I guess, regarding like when you did that big trip, or like just any other stories that you really had?
Let me take you back to my origin story, which comes from 2018. Basically, I decided to work at a summer camp in Massachusetts. Sorry, in Connecticut.
Oh, Connecticut.
But my local park was Six Flags New England in Massachusetts. And I thought, if there's a way I can combine this opportunity to work in the States and sort of develop my passion for roller coasters, that would be my best bet. So, anyways, I flew over to come and teach kids how to drive go-karts for 2 months.
Wow.
And on my days off, I go to Six Flags, ride all the rides, and eat ice cream.
Oh my goodness.
And people couldn't believe it. But the agency that employed me didn't think I was serious.
Wow.
They're like, wait, do we offer this as a job? And I'm like, yeah. So that was pretty cool. And then basically it kind of just developed from there. You know, all the kids at the summer camp wanted to see me document my adventures. And, you know, for them as well, they didn't believe that what I said I did was true. And before you know it, I sort of started traveling around. People recognized me, mainly because I put my name on the back of a t-shirt, which was a very smart move.
Mike and Ryan were just like, you wash that shirt like every day. I was like, what? That's why I just have a wardrobe of just shirts. Like, you got one shirt, you're like,
oh yes, it had to be pristine, because the thing is,
it looked clean every time too. That's what's crazy.
Well, this is it. I had to keep it true to the kind of the color scheme of YouTube. You know, not to infringe on copyright, but to make sure that people knew it's kind of like a reputable representation. So anyway, my biggest regret was coming so close. Coming back to when I mentioned Mr. Beast earlier.
Oh yeah.
I was wearing that T-shirt in Texas, and I still think about it to this day. If I'd have just got a shout out, if I'd have just said, you know, whatever.
Man,
you never know. I could have been up there.
Yeah, because remember, like, I remember the video with Ryan. He was like they were wondering why the ride was closed. They were trying to ride the coaster, but that's why, because Mr. Beast was there. And
you
it's kind of crazy.
You can see some of the guys in the background, just as we're getting on the other mine train there. You can see one of the characters, or one of the people from Mr. Beast's channel, Chandler, I believe.
Yeah, Chandler. That's
Chandler, as you say.
Yo, that's crazy.
But, man. Yeah, so it kind of like, you know, I've got all of these different stories, and I've done so much. It's kind of like, it's nice to be able to look back on it.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of like, in my mind, it's kind of like explosive diarrhea of memories. I've got so much going on, I can't remember it all.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, so how did you get into coasters? Like, how did that all happen?
I've always had an interest in them. You know, I've grown up playing Roller Coaster Tycoon and Planet Coaster. And I remember saying to myself once, I watched a video about 13, 14 years ago of Goliath at Magic Mountain.
Oh, okay.
And I said to myself, one day I'm going to travel the world and ride roller coasters.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to be brave enough to ride that. And I laugh now as an enthusiast, because that's one of the most tamest coasters.
Wow.
And it's like, I think a lot of people misconstrue the hype for, you know, the intimidation factor.
Yeah.
But that always kind of inspired me. It was like a challenge. If I could overcome that, I could do bigger and faster.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm running out of things to do now. Like, I've done the biggest, I've done the fastest.
Well, I was about to say, I think you should like take a trip maybe to like you said. I mean, there's Energy Landy. I don't know if you've been there yet. I think that would be an awesome video to do.
Absolutely. I mean, the one I'm looking forward to getting back to most is Phantasialand for Tower. That was the park that I went to back in 2008, I believe. And it was fantastic. Unfortunately, awesome. They only had Black Mamba there at the time and a few other coasters. But I think I want to go back there when they unveil Fly as well, which is the new, is it the Vekoma launch coaster?
Yeah, I think if I'm correct.
So that'd be cool.
Man.
But I think that's going to be my next trip, because, like I say, I'm on the doorstep of a lot of these parks.
Yeah.
And if you sign up to a membership at Blackpool Pleasure Beach here in the UK, you can actually get access to Portaventura in Spain.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to do that and head over to Ferrari Land to ride Red Force as well.
Man. Yeah,
and then
see,
after that,
that's the advantage y'all have. Like, it's funny because all the people in the US are like, we want to get to Europe and like that area, but like everyone over in Europe is like, we want to go to the US and ride like all those RMCs and whatnot. So
oh yeah, I mean, you guys have got so many, it's awesome.
That's true.
You've got all of the different biomes, you know, you drive 5 hours in any direction and you've got snow, you've got sand, you've got beaches. In England, we've got muddy puddles,
rains like half the week.
Yeah. I mean, rain rides are great. Don't get me wrong. Rain rides on the Smiler are awesome. But, you know, one of the things that I've been trying to sort of do for myself is, we all know we're not going to ride every coaster in history because a lot of them are defunct now.
Yeah.
But I've already done 2 Stratocoasters, or the 2 Stratocoasters. I'm trying to do all of the Giga coasters next, and I've only got Red Force and Orion to go next. And then after that, it's kind of just going to see if I can give myself these little challenges as well. So,
I mean, so what's your favorite manufacturer?
Do you know what? I used to swear by Intamin, but I think I prefer B&M now. I think I've seen the light.
That's kind of how I was. Like, I love what Intamin does, but I like they make awesome thrill rides. But when you get older, you're just like, I think I like the B&M ride a little bit more.
I think I like Intamin Hypers and B&M Gigas. I think if I had to kind of pick my ultimate lineup, it would be something along the lines of Fury 325 is the Giga.
Yeah.
Intamin Hype was a good one. Maybe the Twister at Goliath at La Ronde.
Yeah.
We don't normally talk about La Ronde, but
wait, did you go? What was it? Have you ridden a single rail yet from RMC or no?
Yeah, so when I went to California back in December of 2018, I think I was at California's Great America the last day of the season.
Oh wow!
Of like the winter season, and I rode Railblazer. But unfortunately, when I got down to Texas with the Coaster Idiots,
Wonder Woman,
we didn't get to ride Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that was that. It goes down a lot from what I hear. It's one of those like hit or miss coasters also. So yeah.
Well, I'll also give you a little behind the scenes in case you haven't seen the video over on El Toro Ryan's channel. Basically, it was inferred that nobody had a good time at the park. I loved it. I loved the park, but the operations were awful.
That's what everyone said.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's one of those things. You know, Texas is such a big state, and the weather and the climate. They've probably got so much more to deal with than a park like, for example, Great Adventure that can run nitro in sub-zero temperatures.
Right. I was just about to say in like negative 10 degrees. Wow. I mean, but I want to say just thank you for your time, man. I want to say thank you for just doing this because I wanted to talk with someone who was maybe from another part of the world. So thank you for coming on. I will leave all his stuff in the link description below. Remember to subscribe to his channel. I'll leave all that down there. Do you have any merch yet or no?
Any merch?
Yeah.
I don't at the moment, but you never know. Who knows?
All right, but I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And they'll post notifications to stay up to date with everything that's happening on the channel. Till next time, you guys. Peace out.